regions, including Ganga FM in Jirapa, Sun City Radio Keta in Kilgi FM Bole, ATL FM Cape Coast, and Radio Max in Takrady. Also on my Joy Online app and Spotify. And coming up, tensions rising in Asamankese in the eastern region as 2 persons sustained gunshot wounds in renewed chieftaincy clashes following forceful takeover of the Asamankese Palace. We're live in the town as police and military team is deployed to prevent reprisal attacks. Meanwhile, in Gomoa Fete in the central region, there's heavy security presence following assassination attempt on the chief there.
They hide assassins to kill me. What have we done? It is God who makes kings.
Also, Ghana Health Service steps up nationwide COVID-19 vaccination as 6 more cases of the new Omicron strain is detected in some communities.
If you have communities, it means I've gone to the community. If everybody who is supposed to be vaccinated is vaccinated, then it's not too dangerous for the country.
Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Ministry places bans on 3 countries following the upsurge in Omicron cases in those countries. We have details.
And in sports, Gamanche urges government to speed up the building of infrastructure for the 2023 African Games.
That's coming up in sports. And later, with just 5 days to Christmas, we ask, are you able to fulfill the Christmas wish of your children?
Bad times today. I was so over. Christmas.
I have started buying their clothes.
I did about 20 cities. Ukopeja is 50 cities.
In Ghana, we know no Santa Claus, or we know this.
More as we count down to Christmas here on your official Christmas station, Joy 99.7 FM. Thank you, as always, for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. I'm Araba Koomson. This afternoon, tensions are rising in Asamankese in the eastern region after 2 persons sustained gunshot wounds following renewed chieftaincy clashes over the installation of Osaberima Atabisa Kantinka Pobi Asumening, a paramount chief of the town. The installment was characterized by sporadic gunshots amidst resistance from some residents who are believed to be followers of the chief, another rival chief. Let's go live and speak to our man on the ground, Edwin Kofi Siao, who has been monitoring the situation. Kofi, what can you report?
So, Araba, it was very early in the morning today when we had information that there is going to be the installment of Osaberima Pobi Asumeni, who is a rival chief in the area. And the ceremony happened today. And as part of the ceremony, as it was going on, some tasks were seen around the palace. There were numbering more than 20, and they were providing security for the program. So, some police officers and military men were called in. Whilst they were coming, the tax left the place, and the police cordoned off the palace while the ceremony was also taking place in the palace. So, as I speak with you, the installation process has been done, and Sabarima Pobi Asmenin has been installed as the new chief of Asamankese.
They hide as
High Court, say High Court in ruling, a hot home could default. Yen, I call Yen Fenua, or Sio Hino, a consistent agreement letters or him being yes, Amakase, a Busian Yensia, Neyin Pafoflo, near sisters Amakase. Almost acquire P, our recently House of Chiefs, a hot home colusia. It's a net day. Abusia as a Makwatia Kwamai, a year this year, a year me or Sabema, a Tia Busa, a drink up with Yasmani. Say, me, ɛmɛhwɛ ɛsamaman akonya so ɛyɛ dapɔn da kɛseɛ ɛyɛ asomdwe da kɛseɛ ɛmɛ ɛsamaman ɛne ne mpɔtɛmu krataa wɔ hɔ obi biara wɔyɛ wei no judgment ne nyinaa wɔ hɔ woba a yɛde bɛkyerɛw oforipa ne fie ɛna ɔmɛyɛ saa direction yi sɛ yɛnyi nipa foforɔ ne yɛsi sɛ sama kɛse he na ɔhen no ɔno ankasa hyehyɛ ne ho si ne ho he no ɔnyɛ ɔhen enti ɛno ho ɛne yɛgyina yɛ high court no so foa so ɛmɛ nnɛ yɛde yɛ amanneɛ kɛseɛ ɛte sɛ ɛde ma abrade adehyeɛ abusua.
Kofi, so quickly translate what he was saying there.
Okay, what he's saying is that he's had the backing of the High Court in Koforidua and that of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs and the Atinobuakwa Divisional Council to be installed as the new chief of the area. He said he's been fighting this case for some time now, and he thinks this is the right time he has been installed as the rightful chief of the area.
Have anyone been apprehended by the police? We understand that police apprehended some of the thugs. Can you confirm that? Yes, in the
palace, when the police came there or arrived at the scene, they arrested, I saw about 3 guys who were arrested by the police.
Thanks for those details, Kofi Siao. Our Eastern Regional correspondent will stay on chieftaincy because police in the Central Region are on a manhunt for 3 members of an 8-man gang that attempted to assassinate the Gomoafete chief. The police shot 5 of the suspects to death. The suspects were allegedly contracted by some unidentified persons to assassinate the chief last night. But the chief, Nana Abo Ata, tells Joy News an informant tipped off the police who laid ambush and shot the suspects.
There wa bopa de wo boku ye ibadi na ya ye sebi ye bon na nyame no si nti se nyame we si ni a obi su nya information o ma approve.
They hide assassins to kill me. What have we done? It is God who makes kings. Or somebody heard of it and tipped off the police, and they also got here in good time. I thank the police for their timely intervention, and I pray God provides them protection to continue their work. Now everyone will know the real trouble causes.
Abo Ata is chief of Gomoafete in the Central Region. To health now, and 6 more cases of the new COVID-19 strain, Omicron, has been detected in some communities in the country. Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Nsiasare, who confirmed this to Joy News, will not disclose the areas, but he says the airport still leads in the detection of more positive cases. Despite the danger associated with the Omicron strain, Dr. Nsiasare tells Joy News he's hopeful vaccination against the strain will offer significant protection.
And since we are expecting a lot of visitors during these Christmas festivities, we have strengthened our system in the airport. We are very strict. I know people will complain because sometimes there's delay. Yesterday like this, there was a systems failure. So once in a while, we are using technology. But everybody have to bear with us to make sure that everybody is safe in this country over the Omicron. But the last time, I think we had 34 from the airport, and they had about 6 or so from the community.
But if you are having community, that's dangerous.
Yes, if you have communities, it means I've gone to the community. So the most important thing is that we should all, if everybody who is supposed to be vaccinated is vaccinated, then it's not too dangerous for the country. And that's what we are trying to do, because as I speak now, we had over 10 million vaccines, almost 10 million vaccines in the system that we have deployed.
You heard Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Nsiasare there. Meanwhile, the Foreign Affairs Ministry has placed a travel ban on 3 countries following the upsurge in Omicron cases in those countries. My colleague, Winston Amoah, has details of a statement released by the ministry.
So according to the statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of the Republic of Ghana wishes to inform the general public that the government of Ghana has initiated a temporary travel restriction on all travelers arriving from Israel from the 20th of December 2021 for a period of 14 days, except in exceptional humanitarian cases or during official travels. Permission would have to be obtained from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration in exceptional cases. And the ban is for a period of 14 days, same when it comes to that of the Republic of Korea. However, when it gets to that of Malta, it indicates that the period starts from the 20th of December. However, it doesn't specify how long it would last, as in the previous countries.
Winston Amwa with those details of a statement released by the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Let's do some politics, shall we? Now, former President Mahama says he will provide President Akufo-Addo with an autographed copy of the NDC's manifesto. That was in response to President Akufo-Addo after he dared him to show evidence of a single policy he proposed in the last 5 years that improved Ghanaians' life. He was speaking at the party's National Delegates Conference in Kumasi yesterday.
What is the one policy that the National Democratic Congress and their leader, John Dramani Mahama, has thought about in these 5 years in opposition that they have brought to the people of Ghana? One. Somebody should give me one idea that has emerged from the National Democratic Congress in these 5 years that will bring about progress from Ghana. The answer is zero, zero, and zero. Not one. Not one single idea.
President Akufo-Addo there. Now, the former President John Mahama has been responding to President Akufo-Addo on his Facebook page. My colleague Aisha Ibrahim joins us in studio with details of his statement. What has the former president been saying?
Well, Araba, he's been hard on President Akufo-Addo and explaining why the president shouldn't have made that comment. He said, I think the president must take his responsibility seriously and focus on working to change the circumstances of our people rather than the rabble-rousing skits he serves the nation. To answer his rhetorical question on policy, if only he took a moment in the comfort of his chartered jet to read the People's Manifesto, he would have at least learnt about the big push, an accelerated infrastructure plan for Ghana, free primary health care plan, the 1 million jobs plan, Ghana First, framework for industrial revitalization, support and transformation, and several other well thought through and costed policies. I am willing to provide him with an autographed copy of the manifesto. With his speech of yesterday, he has carved his niche as a good campaigner, but unfortunately a poor leader, as Ghanaians have found out at great cost.
All right, many thanks, Aisha Ibrahim, with details of that response by former President John Mahama to President Akufo-Addo, who challenged him to show evidence of his social policies. We stay on politics because Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abujinapo says the directive to the National Council of the governing MPP to study proposed amendments to the party's constitution is needless and must be thrown out. The National Executive Committee of the party at yesterday's National Delegates Conference referred the 93 amendments to the council for study and recommendation. Decision of the council will be debated and adopted at another conference next year. Chairman of the party's Constitution Review Committee, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, insists the conference was not held for the purposes of deliberating just on the proposed amendments. He spoke on the probe on the Joy News channel.
No decision was deferred. A decision was taken. We are a political party. We work with structures. You merely don't go and say, as many as are in favor, say aye or say yeah. Before you reach that level, you will have to make sure that you have done a thorough work. A motion was moved, put to conference that, look, considering the following circumstances, what is your pleasure? And the pleasure of conference was these things that have been put together should go back to the second highest decision-making body.
Alexander Afenyo-Markin is chairman of the NPP's Constitution Review Committee. Well, Samuel Abujinapo, who is also member of Parliament for Damongo, tells my colleague Elton Brobe the whole exercise questions the relevance of the current constitution of the party and must be rejected.
How many articles does the NPP constitution have? Check it out for me. And if you are going to amend 38 provisions of your constitution, you must as well construct a constitution all over again.
But does that question the relevance of the current constitution?
Absolutely. And shouldn't the amendment of 38 provisions of your constitution lead you to the reconstruction of the constitution all over again? It means that you are tampering with literally every provision of the Constitution. I mean, for instance, we are being told that we should amend our Constitution to allow us to elect a presidential candidate 2 years when we are in office. In 2014, when we elected President Akufo-Addo for the 2016 elections, we elected him 2 years, 3 months to the general elections.
That is when in opposition.
Yes.
Now the proponent of this proposed amendment is saying that in power, the party should do so 24 months before the general elections.
The Constitution allows us to do so. So you don't have to amend the Constitution. Look at the provision. The provision says at least 1 year. At least 1 year to the elections. The interpretation of it is that you cannot elect the person 11 months, 29 days.
Should the party spend time debating the merits of this proposal, that it should be stated black and white in the Constitution, that when in power, as it's been espoused by the sponsor of the amendment, that we should have a flag bearer in place 24 months before the 2024 general elections?
I mean, respectfully, I think it's needless. Respectfully, here I'm speaking as a lawyer. I don't think that you need an amendment of your Constitution to elect your presidential candidate 2 years to the next elections when you are in office. You don't need it.
Well, the MPP is expected to start internal contest from February next year and climax it with a National Delegates Congress to elect national officers. Mr. Jinapor is warning of a difficult general elections in 2024 unless the party is able to pull its members together.
We all have to accept, we all have to agree that the 2024 elections is going to be a very, very difficult elections for our party. It's going to be a very competitive elections. It's going to be a tough elections. It's going to be historic. It's going to be consequential. There is absolutely no two ways about that. And any political strategist who doesn't acknowledge that would have lost the plot. So we need to come to terms with the extraordinary nature of the 2024 elections. I mean, if for nothing at all, no political party in Ghana is gone beyond the 8 years.
Absolutely.
So that should tell you that it's going to be a particularly extraordinary elections. That is the first point. But that said, it is also important for us to recognize, and I take that view strongly, that if we continue to govern well, we are sincere to the Ghanaian people, we are forthright with them, they realize that we are doing our utmost best for their welfare. We close our ranks as a party. We map out the right strategies. I believe it is possible, it is doable, by the grace of God, for the MPP to win in 2024.
Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abu Jinapor there. Meanwhile, some MPP members believe deferring the party's constitutional amendments will help unite the party. They say various proponents of the motions will get the chance to further defend their stance. Such opportunity, they believe, will help prevent proponents from being disgruntled.
So we can discuss the various proposals with NEC and then move to National Council for National Council to also approve. Then later we can come for ratification.
It's a good thing that will happen to our party. It will give way for broader consultation, broader engagement. The issues will be ironed out. Those who do not understand some of the nitty-gritty of the proposals, such people will have to be invited to defend why they think such proposals are necessary for the party.
Well, stay a while longer on the MPP because speakers at the delegates conference in Kumasi repeatedly emphasized the party's expectation to retain power in the next election. President Akufo-Addo and his vice, Dr. Bawumia, both believe their track record is enough to help the party attain the feat. But some residents in the Ashanti region say the party is yet to fulfill promises to the region, which is their stronghold. We'll hear from them shortly. But first, listen to Vice President Dr. Bawumia, who says the MPP's enviable track record of performance and its ability to remain united were the keys to breaking the 8, which he believes is not an impossibility.
If our performance on the key macroeconomic indicators, inflation, interest rates, depreciation, external reserves, trade balance, jobs, if our performance on all these key macroeconomic indicators during the worst pandemic in 100 years, if this performance is better than your performance without such a pandemic, how can you say your economic management is better? Kukrudu.
Well, some residents in Kumasi have been sharing their views on this matter. My colleague Nanaya Jima has been monitoring those sentiments. He joins us on the line now. So what's been the reaction from the party stronghold to this quest to break the 8?
So the people in the region are divided over the comments by the vice president, especially as the party continue to ensure that they deliver the promises made to the Ashanti region. Many people in the region were expecting the NPP to improve the road network, especially in the region. But even though the government is working, it is yet to fully ensure that these promises are redeemed.
And so if they have realized that the Ashanti region is giving them a lot of boost as far as elections are concerned, then what are they waiting for? So they should give us.
Since 2017 budget, so interchange has been in every budget. All said as a crowd from that. He is here telling us yesterday, say, if not Ashanti region, 10 people would have lost. Since when did you know this?
It is true that he has invested money in so many projects, but the money hasn't yielded any good fruit. Because you have borrowed over 400 billion, without nothing.
You know what? I keep asking myself, are these people taking us for granted, or they are just joking with us? This inland port, Wankra inland port, sitting there, nothing has been done to it. Yeah, they are talking about investing much in education. If all of us are to complete school, come home, sit home, and then nothing to be done or no job to do.
Yeah, some residents of Kumasi sharing their views on the MPP's quest to break the 8. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top story: tensions arising in Asamankese in the eastern region as 2 persons sustained gunshot wounds in renewed chieftaincy clashes following forceful takeover of the Asamankese Palace. Also, Ghana Health Service steps up nationwide COVID-19 vaccination as more cases of the new Omicron strain is detected in some communities. Meanwhile, the Foreign Affairs Ministry has placed travel bans on 3 countries following the upsurge in Omicron cases in those countries. Report you details. After the break, we have sports, and later, with just 5 days to Christmas, we ask, are you able to fulfill the Christmas wish of your children?
Christmas. I
have started buying their clothes.
I 20 cities. 50 cities.
Ghana, we know those Santa Claus.
It's all systems go for the biggest jam of the year.
The Samini Experience Concert goes live on Friday, December 24th at the Grand Arena.
Come party with the true king of African dancehall alongside showstoppers Kitty, Kwame Eugene, and a lot more.
Absolutely breathtaking performances. The Samini Experience Concert.
Party starts at 8 p.m. sharp.
Book a table now or grab a standard ticket at $250 CDs or $350 for premium at SaminiExperience.com.
COVID-19 protocols shall be strictly observed.
The Samini Experience Concert, produced by Image Bureau and Samini Music with support from
Ghana Gas, FBN Bank, and Smirnoff Ice, media partners Joy Entertainment,
and proudly brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go.
The Samini Experience Concert at 6.
You're welcome back to the Midday News. It's time for sports, and Oriku Ampofa has details. Oriku.
Government Chair Nitakite Kuchuru II has admonished the government of Ghana to step up efforts in the completion of sports infrastructure in the country, as well as the Boteman Stadium and Legon Sports Stadium ahead of the African Games. Ghana will, for the first time, host the rest of Africa in 2023 for the African Games.
What is the level of urgency that we are attaching to the completion of major sporting infrastructure for the African Games 2023? Involvement of over 26 national federations in the planning and preparation of the game. I'm making a call to the principals of the sporting fraternity to have a collective commitment to our sporting infrastructure, which is a major building block for the regular production and polishing of sportsmen and women capable of competing locally and winning major global laurels. The Isipon Stadium, for instance, was left unattended for a very long time, but the silver-winning ladies, the Hazaka ladies, at the Maiden Calf Women's Championship should remind us that we need to put in much more than we are doing as a nation.
And that is our sports for now.
All right, many thanks, Oriku Ampo, for sports. Let's head straight to Parliament now, where the debate on the e-levy has begun. And First Deputy Minority Whip Ahmed Ibrahim has called on the governing MPP to defer the bill, just like it deferred its proposed amendments during the annual Delegates Congress in Kumasi yesterday. Listen.
Bad times today.
All right, we'll bring you that sound much later. But let's go on the line and speak to parliamentary correspondent Kwesi Parker-Wilson. Parker, bring us up to speed on what's happening on the floor now.
So our parliament is here to commence the business for the day. The finance committee is still in their meeting, considering or deliberating on the e-levy. I'm told that the majority is confident that they'll put together a report unanimously accepting the e-levy and subsequently recommending to Parliament that they should adopt. Of course, when it gets to the plenary, that is when Parliament would decide. But the minority position hasn't changed. They are saying that they will subject the e-levy to a vote, a thorough debate before they even vote on it. So Ghanaians will know the position that the minority is taking against it.
What about the majority? What's their reaction to the posture by the minority?
Well, they believe that the recommendation of the Finance Committee, of course, they are expecting their colleagues on the minority side on the committee to equally agree with them. So if they do agree with them at the committee level, then they can make a strong case when they get to the chamber that at least some NDC MPs have agreed, and that is why the committee has recommended for its approval. And so then we don't know what's going to happen, but they expect their minority colleagues to support the MPs on the committee to recommend the approval of the e-levy.
Right, Kwesi Parker-Wilson with those details live from the floor of Parliament, where the debate on the e-levy has begun. We'll bring you updates in our subsequent bulletins. Now, management of gold dealership firm Men's Gold have announced they would, from today, start the electronic payment of some 181 customers whose monies have been locked up since September 2018. This is one of the many attempts the firm is making to pay creditors since it closed 3 years ago. Details of this new payment plan are outlined in a statement released by management. My colleague Manuel Kranting has a copy of the statement. He joins me in studio. Manuel, we know the customers are usually asked to converge at an office for the payment. What necessitated this new plan?
Also, Araba, according to the statement, which is signed by only management, of course, no name attached, please advise them to do it this way to avoid exposing beneficiaries and employers of the firm to criminal attacks, since the cash would be carried to and fro the designated venue. Also, to avoid crowding at the venue if they have to meet at a designated place, a situation that is likely to expose everyone there to the coronavirus.
Meanwhile, the spokesperson for the aggrieved customers, Frederick Forson, says although they welcome the move, they are very cautious. This is why.
I'm all for it. I keep on saying, but all the struggling that we are doing and some have died, it's all about money. So if truly this 180 people are going to be paid, hallelujah, they should pay them. It will be good. In fact, if they are able to finish all the payment, we'll go and withdraw the motion from Parliament. I mean, they've done some before. Even some have been called to go and pay money before they receive their money. So let's see what happens.
Frederick Forson is spokesperson for the aggrieved customers of Men's Gold. Now, we're still counting down to Christmas. It's just 5 days away. And Love FM's Mona Lisa Frimpong has been finding out from some parents if they are ready to fulfill the Christmas wish of their children.
In Ghana, we know no Santa Claus. All we know is say,
and mommy has buy some shoes for me to celebrate Christmas.
Children are frequently lavished with gifts during Christmas seasons. As a parent, I have to make sure my child looks good. I have started buying their clothes. Yasantoa, unlike last year, she will not buy anything for her children this year. I am going through hardship. I cannot buy anything for my children.
In Ghana, we know no Santa Claus. All we know is say, Ronya Swan, yeah, very.
Very akukonam. And on that note, we end the midday news. Our top story here: tensions rising in Asamankese in the eastern region after 2 persons sustained gunshot wounds in renewed chieftaincy clashes following forceful takeover of the Asamankese police. And Ghana Health Service steps up nationwide COVID-19 vaccination as 6 more cases of the new Omicron strain is detected in some communities. These and many more are on myjoyonline.com for you. And coming up next after the news is Living Word with Dr. Mensa Otabil, and he is preaching on the word, words of salvation. I'm Araba Koomson. Thank you very much for your attention.